No human being deserves to live without agency or without hope for a future. So let us recognize the vigorous work of all those who bring us to this point in history. As a nation, we have taken great strides in combating modern-day slavery, but there's still so much more left to do. We must continue our efforts, and we will be successful in ending this evil scourge. Thank you all so much for being here. And with that, I would like to welcome Attorney General Barr, who has been such a formidable champion on this issue, to come up and join us and say a few words. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ivanka, and thank you for your energetic leadership on this issue and for hosting this important summit this morning. Good morning, everyone. It's really an honor to be here, and I'd like to acknowledge Jessica and thank you for sharing your story and for your courage. And I'd like to say to all the survivors, I want you to know how grateful we are for all that you do in fighting to free other victims from the grip of this modern-day slavery. As we all know, January has been Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and as the month comes to a close, I can assure you that our campaign against this scourge will drive forward with greater energy and deeper commitment. The Department of Justice will continue to bring the full force of the law against those who exploit other human beings by subjecting them to the physical and psychological captivity involved in this horrific crime. Now, human trafficking is, we all know, modern-day slavery, and it is a crime of exploitation. It comes in innumerable forms, and it involves no single type of victim. Sometimes those who are abused are homeless. Sometimes they're undocumented aliens or runaway children, or they are people who have become addicted to drugs, or just simply impressionable minors. Emblematic in many ways is one horrific case I was briefed on recently in the Southern District of New York. A very dedicated team of prosecutors doggedly pursued a few little leads and ended up convicting 19 defendants in Manhattan with sex trafficking of minor girls and young women in the New York State child welfare system. In other words, children whose society had a special obligation to protect ended up being instead exploited. In this, as in every case, a person who gains leverage or power over a vulnerable victim exploits them for their own gain. There's nothing more predatory or disgusting. As you are aware, this year marks the 20th anniversary of the Victims Trafficking and Violence Protection Act, and anniversaries are a good time to pause and to survey the past and take stock. And since this statute was passed 2 decades ago, we have achieved very encouraging results in the fight against human trafficking. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a serious challenge that is emerging. We live in a digital age, and like everyone else, human traffickers are relying increasingly on digital communications and the internet and platforms like that. And more, the evidence we rely on to detect and to deal with these predators is digital evidence. However, increasingly, this evidence is being encrypted. And we all recognize that encryption is important in the commercial world to protect consumers like us from cyber criminals. But now we're seeing military-grade encryption being marketed on consumer products like cell phones and social media platforms and messaging services. And this means that we cannot get access to this data We just can't have chat rooms and websites that are involved in grooming children victims or selling trafficked women, sites that are impenetrable to law enforcement. And we have to do something about this. And recently I met with my counterparts in the Five Eyes, Great Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and we've all agreed, and we met with victims groups, we met with the companies, and we tried to impress upon the companies the damage that would be done to our efforts to combat human trafficking unless we can find a solution for this. So we're working together with our foreign partners on this issue. In the meantime, we are committed to combating human trafficking in all its forms and using every tool at our disposal. And I commend the President and Ivanka for all they have done to stop this scourge. Today's event is a very important opportunity to ensure that victims' voices are heard and to send a message that this issue is a top priority of this administration, the whole administration. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to pledge to you that the Department of Justice will do everything in our power to continue bringing human traffickers to justice. Thank you.